Hi everyone, welcome to week 2. It was really awesome hearing from so many of you last week. I really enjoyed watching your videos on Flipgrid, reading your summaries, hearing from some of you through email. It was cool to see how many of you talked about different texts than the story After 20 Years that I gave you to read. And for those of you who did talk about the text, there were a couple spots where there were some different interpretations of loyalty. And that was cool too, because everyone had good evidence for where they saw loyalty and why they called it loyalty. But it's really a great example of how you can look at the same text and the same topic and come to different conclusions. And that's why people can have really rich discussions about text. So I'm hoping that maybe similar things happen with our story this week. Our lesson this week is going to follow a similar format, so you get some good practice with it. I'm going to change a few things about how I do this intro video that will hopefully make directions more clear. But as always, if there's anything I forget or anything that's still fuzzy, just send me an email and I'll try to clarify as best I can. And also, just as a quick announcement, if you need anything like a stylus battery or a charger, let me know. I wrote down the names of you who filled out that survey that I sent out, I think last Thursday. So if you filled out that survey, you don't need to fill it out again or let me know. I already wrote your name down. But if you didn't, let me know as soon as you can, and I'll try to get that to you in some way. We've kind of slowly been working on those things for students. So let me know. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. So the topic we're going to talk about this week is commitment. And commitment means to be dedicated to something like a cause or an activity or even a person. And if you say that you're going to be committed to something, people have an expectation that you're going to follow through on whatever it is that you've agreed to do. Like if you've committed to go to someone's birthday party and maybe you get a better offer, you are going to follow through and go to that birthday party that you committed to go to, even though maybe there's something else you'd rather do instead. And commitment is usually seen as a really good thing. People want to hire people who are committed. Teachers want to see that their students are committed to their work. If someone has to write someone a letter of recommendation, they might talk about the fact that this person is committed to their work. So usually it's seen as a really good thing. But as we do these discussions on different topics each week, I want you to really think about the different impacts that that topic can have on something. So, like for me, I tend to be pretty committed to something if I say I'm going to do it, but sometimes I'm so committed to it that it actually isn't a good thing anymore. So, for example, I think it was my very first storm night that I went to as a teacher. Storm night is when all of the eighth graders and eighth grade parents they come to the school and they visit and they get excited about going to Squalcom next year and they ask lots of questions. So the very first year that I was hosting a table for the English department, we had a list where people could put down their name and email address. And if they had questions or just wanted more information, we could send them an email. Well, a lot of people were asking about what courses we had available for English, and we only had 2 course catalogs for people to look at. And so people would ask, oh, can we take these? And we'd say, no, we actually don't have enough. And then I came up with this grand idea that people could put their name and email address down, and I would just send them the link to the online catalog. And after like the second person, realized, oh, I could just tell them to go to the website. I don't need to be the one to send them this link. It's really tedious to sit there and type in 20 different email addresses, try to decipher everyone's handwriting, craft this email that they may not even really care about receiving that much. So I have this realization pretty early on in the night, but for some reason in my mind, I have committed to sending this email to people. And so parent after parent walks by my table, asks if they can take the course catalog. I say no. I tell them to write their email address down. And I'm working with Miss Edmonds. I don't know how many of you know Miss Edmonds that well. She's one of the other English 101 teachers. She's got a cute dog, not as cute as my dog. Anyway, she finally looks at me and she's like, you can just tell them to go to the website, right? You don't have to send all of them an email. And it had just never occurred to me that I didn't have to make the same commitment to every single one of them, that I could just send the email to the first 2 where I didn't think it through. And then the rest of them, I could just tell them to go straight to the website. So those are the ways that commitment kind of shows up for me. It's good intentions. Usually it's good to be committed, but in that situation, I took it too far. It didn't make any sense anymore. So when you think about commitment this week, I want you to be that detailed about it wherever you can. So I'm now going to switch to my screen and I'm going to give you a little tutorial of the activities that you're going to do this week. And then you can see like the order that you should do things in and where you need to click. And hopefully that'll make things really clear. So here we go. So this is the page that you're going to see. This is where you're watching the video right now. The video I'm filming, it's going to get dropped in here. And just like last time, it's broken into 3 activities. And this time I added a goal at the top of each activity just so that it's a little bit more clear what I'm hoping you get out of it. So this week, the first activity asks you to demonstrate your understanding of symbolism by creating a visual representation of a topic. So this is different. This is new. We didn't do this last week. So here the directions say, watch the lesson intro video. That's what you're watching right now. And then it gives you the definition of commitment. And then it says create a visual symbol for the topic of commitment on the page, practicing symbolism commitment in your student section group. So I gave you a link here that you can click on directly. It's going to take you to a page that looks like this. But remember that you're going to need to write on this page. So this link that it's taking you to, this is what the page will look like, but you actually need to go find this in your own student section group because you're not going to be able to write on this page itself. It's kind of here for reference. So this activity, this is showing your understanding of what symbolism is. So it's kind of like some vocab review. And it also is going to get your brain thinking about this term of commitment before you start reading a story through that lens. So your task is to draw a symbol of commitment and then to explain how it symbolizes commitment. So I drew someone on a hike and then I explain why in my mind going on a hike pops in my brain when I think of commitment. And then you'll do yours in the table down here. You can draw your symbol with your stylus right in this page, but like if you're anything like me, my stylus battery is barely hanging on. So I drew it on paper and then I took a picture. And there's directions here if you want to click on this link that tell you how to insert a picture into OneNote if you haven't done that before. So that is activity 1. Going back to our lesson page, activity 2, goal, objectively summarize a text and use transitions effectively. So here, following the directions, the first link that it will take you to is our story for the week. I'm giving you a new one. It's called Fish Cheeks by Amy Tan. So click on the link here. If you want to use Immersive Reader, you can click on this link, which will take you to the PDF. In this story, it's a really short story, actually. It's just 1 page. And this author, Amy Tan, she's an American author. She was born in the 50s, but she's still alive. She's written a couple of books that you might see in later classes. One of them is called The Joy Luck Club, and that also got turned into a movie in the 90s, I think. I haven't seen it, but I think it was the 90s when that movie came out. So this story is actually, it's a true story from her childhood. And as you read this story, I want you to have the idea of commitment in mind. Be looking for commitment wherever you see it. If you want to read this in your student section group and annotate it, you can. There's a copy there, or you can just read it right in the content library. Either is fine. So step 1, read the story. Back to our directions. Step 2, review using transitions. So this review is going to be directly on that 1 paragraph summary page. This week, you're writing another 1 paragraph summary, and I have created for you a review lesson just on transitions. It's a lot shorter than last week's. I give you some examples about different types of transitions, and then you'll also see here in the content library, I gave you a transition word bank, and so you can look through this for different words that you could use in the 1 paragraph summary that you're going to write. So just like last time, you could choose to write your 1 paragraph summary about the story Fish Cheeks, or if you want to talk about a different text, whether it's a movie that you're watching, or a show, or a book that you're reading, you could totally summarize something different as well. It's up to you. I decided to summarize a book that I'm reading right now called Always and Forever Lara Jean. It's the third book in the To All the Boys I've Loved Before series. It's really lighthearted. It's kind of fun. I've been needing something lighthearted and fun in my life lately, so if you're looking for something of that nature, I highly recommend that book. And just like last time too, I highlighted the different parts of a summary that you want to hit, and I tried to use different transition phrases so that you could see the variety that you could potentially use in your paragraph summary. So that is activity 2, another summary. Back to the directions. Activity 3, discuss what a text is really about in a video. So in our Flipgrid, we have a new topic called commitment. If you click on this link, it should take you there. You'll see a page that looks like this. It might ask you to sign in again. Yep, log in with Microsoft. And I think if I do this, it's going to show me the same view that you'll see. So I believe you'll see this page first. It says week 2 commitment. And if you did a Flipgrid video last week, then you don't need to do anything extra to like join the class or anything like that. If you haven't joined our Flipgrid yet, then you're going to want to follow the directions here, Tech Help Flipgrid instructions. But if you did it last week, you can just go straight to that Flipgrid page. Hopefully I can get back to it. There we go. So again, I have an example video for you where I talk about where I see the topic of commitment show up in the book Forever and Always Lara Jean. And then to record your own response, you click the green button, record your video, and there you go. So that is the activity for the week. You'll receive feedback on all those things by the end of the week. I'll probably send out another whole class email at the end of the week to let you know that that feedback is done. And I might give you another survey so you can let me know if there's anything else that you need that you haven't gotten yet. And that's it. That's what you need to do. So as always, if you have questions, let me know. And I look forward to hearing where you see commitment show up in the things that you're reading. Have a great week, everybody.